Hi, guys. We are back with Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I don't know if it's been ruining your life, but it's certainly been ruining mine. We just finished up chapter 55. This is episode 5. We've only got one more episode after this. I really don't think that we could possibly stretch it out more than that. But oh my goodness, this section was painful. I think before this, we rated it like a 2 out of 10, like on the emotion scale. Like I think if 0 out of 10 is I'm so sad I'm DNFing, I think is probably that's how I was feeling. And then a 10 out of 10 is like an HEA. This is the best, happiest book I've ever read. I'm at a solid 2 out of 10 at this point. It's
Bad things
bleak.
are happening.
Yeah, just like a lot of bad things. And I feel like that's what we said in the last section. 2 sections ago. It's all been bleak.
It got worse.
It just keeps going downhill. Like we have moments and then they're taken away or sullied or something. It's not great.
It's just sad.
Yeah.
It was bleak before, but now it's bleaker.
Yeah. Quick check in. Has anyone like cried yet? I will say I have not cried. There have been moments that I'm like, oh, my heart, but I have not cried yet.
I haven't cried. I teared up
Mm.
at least once. I can't remember if I teared up a second time, but it was when she described a moment with him, it was like really peaceful, just staring out at Arisha together.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really nice. I hope they get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was like the first time they mentioned it because this last time was very recent. And she was like, "You want to go sit on the rooftop?" And he was like, "I've got better ideas." And I was like, I don't hate this moment, but also like it's very much I'm gonna die any day now, so why don't we have sex on this throne instead of staring out into the sunset? Like, the vibes are weird. The vibes are weird right now, everybody. Yeah. Also, if I needed to say we're going to spoil everything in this section for you, I should have said it already, but you know what? If this is your first video, I think it's on you. I think it's on you at this point. So hopefully we didn't ruin anything, but we're about to. So, leave if you have not read every single chapter through chapter 55 and you don't want Onyx Storm ruined for you. Which at this point, if you haven't been ruined, great job. I don't know how I've avoided it up until this point. Spoilers are rampant. Be careful. I would love to jump right in, after I pull up my notes, of course, with our 2 gifts that are given at the beginning of this section. We talked in the end of the last episode about what is this squishy package that Violet has now been given. And Elena, you were so right. Like, you were totally right. You were like, that silk she
So
was
valid.
wearing. Yeah. We were joking about it being a skirt, and like it almost was. It almost was. It was better than that. It was a nightgown that Xaden had made for Violet, which was so sweet. Like, oh my goodness.
So sweet.
I felt
And
that.
it's
That
new.
was, yeah, amazing. So sweet, and like gave her a letter and everything about how she could wear it when he couldn't be with her. Adorable. And then Violet goes and gives him a gift, and it's an onyx like bracelet cuff with a piece of the rooftop that we alluded to earlier put into it so that he can always remember the time that they shared together in Iron Flame on that rooftop, just like enjoying their lives together. And I thought that it was like really, really sweet. Just these gifts and letters. Oh my goodness. What do you guys think?
So it's gonna do anything? Like, is it just a bracelet?
I had a lot of thoughts about the other Onyxy bracelet that I'm now like I'm not entirely on the bracelets just grandma's bracelet train. Like I think that it might still have something else, but I also recognize that there are rabbit holes that I have been in that I've been entirely wrong and that there will be more that I'm incorrect about. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it just a bracelet? Is it gonna have magical powers to save him from the brink of evil? Somebody give me some hope here. I need it. I need it bad.
I
feel like the bracelet has to do something, but it could also not do something and just be like a cute reminder for him, like when he's in his like Venice, he'll still wear it or something. Uncertain. I did feel very valid about the nightgown and the fact that it was basically lingerie, as seen later in the book when
Absolutely.
he walks in and she's wearing.
I also don't know, did we say on episode that Jacob thought that this section was boring and we guessed
I
why he thought it was boring?
I think we did.
Sometimes we talk about the book too much before and after the episode, and I forget what we've shared with all of you. But yeah, I'm really glad that we all knew that when Jacob said that this section was boring, we knew why. And oh my goodness, those two chapters were. I haven't read them again because I needed to keep reading the chapters we needed to read for tonight, but I will eventually read them both again.
I bet they think you're really good on
Two
audio too.
Oh, I can't imagine. Okay. If you're listening to this book, tell us how those two chapters were. Was it awkward? Was it amazing? Someone tell me.
um I think it was nice those two chapters in terms of it's the first scene we've gotten where in this entire book Xaden feels like in control of himself enough. Like he's
Yes.
still so worried, like he's so worried about keeping her safe and it's so cute to see, but then like the moment when he realizes like, "Oh, this is okay." It's just, like the one uplifting moment in this entire section of chapters.
One
Yeah.
like, blissful moment of peace and hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only was it like sexy AF, but the like, you've got the daggers next to the bed and like also your power. And like, if you need to murder me at any moment, you do that.
Do you have the serum? Where's the serum? Like, should I take it now? Should I take it after?
No, Sigil would kill me. Yeah. No, but I mean, like, I think that was why I loved those two chapters so much, is because, like, they had such great moments for the two of them that we have not seen this whole book. Like, it was so great at the end of it for Xaden to be like, awesome, bathtub back here, over there, around the corner. Like, him finally, like, feeling like he was in control. And waiting for so long because he wanted to make sure that he wouldn't hurt her. Like, 70, what was it, 76 days, like, oh my god, wow.
73.
73. Elena's like, I was counting.
No, because that was the whole thing. He was like, I said 76, but like it's been
Mhm.
73. Are you okay? Should we wait the 3 days? Like, I don't want to wait the 3 days, but we can wait the 3 days.
Yeah, the super magical 76 days. Oh my goodness. I think too, like, that's why this section was so hard for me, is because it was so hopeful and uplifting, but with the caveat of like, we get to the end and we realize that like Xaden's feeling great and like loving life, and it's because he's basically said goodbye to everything, that he's like getting everything in order to basically like piece off this mortal coil. And I'm just like, I can't handle. I'm not handling.
Yeah. The scene with Bodhi in this section where he's like, and Bodhi's gonna do this, and Bodhi's, I'm not doing that. I'm like,
Bodhi. Let's talk about Bodhi. I have some strong feelings, and I think we've talked about this, but like, I really do think that Bodhi does have a second segment that we don't know about. Like, there have been some weird like half lines about Bodhi being like, I'm just as strong as you are, and like I can go fight. And I feel like it can't just be lip service for this whole idea that Xaden is like planning his succession before he like goes off and venons. Like, I feel like there's got to be more to it than that. But on the other hand, I also see that it could be like the plot push that Xaden needs to potentially make Violet into that person, even though he said that he wasn't going to. So I don't know how you guys are reading like all of this stuff with Bodhi at this point. Any ideas like where his character's going, where this whole thing is going?
I mean, I don't think his character is going to ruling Tyrandor. That doesn't seem to be what he wants to do.
No. Is he dying?
I feel like someone's gotta die, right? Like, are we still waiting for the death in the last 7 chapters?
Well, yeah. No, there's definitely a death before the book is over. 100%.
I think we said that last book, An Iron Flame, and no one really. I mean, except for Lilith, but like in the core group,
Yeah.
That's
the
that's
squad.
true. I feel like
I
Lilith was supposed to be sad.
was
Like,
so worried about Rhea in the battle scene in this section.
yeah, same. I was also really worried about Taryn. Like, I was worried about the two of them. I was very, very nervous. And then the minute Andarna was like, peace off, I'm going to Irid boot camp, I was like, oh, good. I'm not worried about Taryn anymore because I thought the only way Taryn died was if Violet could subsist off of her bond with Andarna, which no longer exists.
That was fascinating, wasn't it? Finding that out.
Yeah. What are our thoughts on that?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Go there though. Can we first talk about the power she had with Andarna that she doesn't have it? Like, so we find out she's a dreamwalker, just to then find she doesn't have the bond anymore, which means she's not a dreamwalker anymore. So we just found out about this big power for her to potentially not have it anymore.
I don't think that's true.
You think she still has it?
Yes.
How?
I think that if it was a different signet, it could possibly be that she doesn't have it. But I think that being an intrinsic is a type of like rewiring of your brain. And I don't think that it's going to go away now that she doesn't have a bond with Andarna. Like, I think that is something that is now part of who Violet is.
Maybe that would make more sense because I was like, did we really just find out this for it to no longer be relevant whatsoever?
I don't think so, because I think it's still going to be the way that she beats Theophany or like is like the deciding factor in whatever battle is going to be at the end of this book. Um, I think it was also very specific that while she's in her like catatonic state after Andarna leaves, she specifically says she did not dream. Like, we haven't been able to see her be like, oh, okay, it's fine. I'm having totally normal dreams and not like co opting other people's dreams. It's like she's been very
Well,
specific about have not dreamed. Don't worry.
but that's what I thought the I haven't dreamed thing was oh, Andarna's gone. I'm not dreaming. Like, not hopping into people's dreams.
I think she still has it personally.
I feel like she just got. I feel like it still needs to be explored.
Mm.
I don't know how it works with Endara not
I
being there or not having the bond with the signet, but I just feel like there's still more.
We all feel confident that Andarna's coming back eventually, right? Like, that's we're not worried that this is like the last time we're seeing her.
Yeah, she just has to, like you said, she has to go through boot camp.
Does she though? Because I'm wondering if she comes back at the end of this book as like a like, you know, ghost Arby coming to the battle in Lord of the Rings style. Like, I'm wondering if she is now gonna be like, I need the Irids to meet me halfway and like come fight and then I'll come back and like stay with you.
Think so because I feel like that's the scene we got when whatever his name is, the other Irid showed up in this battle. It's the oh, how are we gonna do this? Oh, he magically came back and fixed the word stone. So it would be weird if she did basically the same thing within 20 chapters.
But is it so unexpected that it'll happen?
I feel like she has to at least go all the way to where the Irids live and be like, damn, they're cool. Let me go back to mom and dad, Gale and Taryn. I miss them.
Yeah.
She's gotta get some intel, you know? She's gotta get some knowledge from them.
So do you guys think that she is gone for the rest of this book? which I'm fine with because that means Taryn survives the rest of this book.
I feel like if it we, I don't know, in poor taste if she doesn't come back by the end of the book. Like was that really the last time we see her? Because like in my head as I'm reading, I'm like, this isn't the end.
It's just the way that Leothan, or whatever the Irid's name is, he made it sound like it would be years. That
Right.
she would
He
need to be there
did.
for years. So if
She
we're thinking it's like a Andarna goes and does her whole boot camp thing and then comes back, there's no way she comes back by the end of this book because there's no way that
but
this book stretches that long.
it's just I think it hurts because she never really said goodbye.
She
just went
tried.
poof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was so upset. That scene was sad.
Yeah.
Just like it's gonna make it harder when Xaden leaves at the end of this book.
So think
You
that's
can't tell me that's
happening?
not where it's going.
I know that's where it's going. That doesn't mean I'm not anxious about it.
The only person left is gonna be Taryn and Brennan. And
It was
Dane.
really
Dane will be there.
Are we sure
unless
that
he's Venom.
Who, Brennan or Dane?
Dane.
There is still something weird.
Oh,
I was gonna ask, are we sure that it's Xaden leaving and not Violet?
Like, oh.
Because Theophany wants Violet.
True. Well, also what's interesting, okay, did you guys notice that in the scene where Mira comes back and it's like, and this is what Grandma told me, when she like finally says what Grandma told her, and she's like, yeah, it said like, I tried to give you to Dune, but like you still had too many paths, but that you could still like walk in Dune's footsteps or something like that. But like first, it seemed like she would only like be working with Dune if she became Venom, which we then find out is if Xaden became Venom. So then that path is still happening, question mark? And then that did make me wonder if that means that she goes to Theophany. Because Theophany is associated with Dune.
yeah, that was also my thought about that whole part, Elena, was that Theophany is like a weird in between because it seems like
Yeah.
it seems like we've decided that she's definitely a former priestess of Dune that is now Venom.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Violet can do both by training with Theophany. And I wonder if that
Yeah.
is the direction that we're going in like my hope that being Venom or like using power in that way isn't necessarily evil and there can be a cure and that we can figure out why it became evil and how to like re-engineer it so it's not. But yeah, Jamie, until you said that, I thought our two options were like Xaden flies solo or they go together. And I never thought of Violet going by herself. And now I'm more nauseous. Like the anxiety is now higher.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, either one could go undercover, I guess, you know? Aw, Dorian.
He has thoughts too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the only thing that I picked up on in the whole like Dune Venom thing that Mira was yelling about was she says the priestess spoke all cryptically but basically said if Violet chose her future poorly, she could still earn their mentorship, but she'd turn and then gets cut off.
Yeah.
But I think that the important part of that hasn't come out yet is the part about Violet choosing her future poorly. And I think that that is linked in with the her heart beating for her turning Venom because I think we've
Yeah.
realized that does mean Xaden, not actually like her
Yeah.
actual heart, which I love that. But I think that other piece that's important, and I might be in a hole, I will admit it, but I'm wondering if that is the path that Violet can still choose. Like we're seeing this decision that she has before her. Is she going to stick with Xaden no matter what, or is she going to walk away from him if it gets too bad? And I think that decision is what's going to lead her to most likely being like, nah, I'm gonna stick with Xaden no matter what, and then probably getting mentored by Theophany in whatever weird way that works. My tummy hurts. What do you guys think of that scene? Because
Good.
I think that's like that's like the biggest thing to unpack, in my opinion, in this section, is all of this. Like, do we think that her dad did devote her to Dune?
Seems like because we get the epigraph where it's like Lilith, where is it?
Letter.
Lilith being like, "I'll never forgive him. God help
Yep.
us if anyone finds out." So like, why is it bad if people find out? Other like, is it just because you're not supposed to give kids to Dune anymore, or
It's super illegal.
Yeah.
yeah?
And my guess would be because it's like morally reprehensible to do this for whatever reason, even if it's as simple as like, I've decided your whole future for you, child. Have fun.
And then like, why? Like, her dad isn't just one to be like, "Okay, bye, my child." Like, I don't want to take care of you. Like, there had to be a reason, and we still don't have the why of anything.
Especially to the goddess of war. And that's what I keep coming back to
Mhm.
too, is like if
Yeah.
her dad was just trying to like willy-nilly devote her to a god, that wouldn't have been the one that he would have chosen.
Right.
So there had to have been something that he felt fairly confident by even half devoting her to Dune, or intending to fully devote her to Dune, that would save her life, is my thought.
When I first read that
Oh.
epigraph, I was like, because it was said her, right? And I was like, who is the her? Could it be Violet or could it be Mira? But as like the chapters go, like the the chapter went on, it seemed like it was leaning towards Violet, but still like at the back of my mind, I'm just like, well, is that still the case? Is there a chance that she met Mira?
What a twist would that be? Did Dad also give Mira to the Venom, and that's why Mira's Venom now?
No, but don't go down the Mira's Venom train anymore. Otherwise, she wouldn't freak out to the extent that she
Yeah,
about the Xaden's Venom.
she freaked
I
Like,
out
I
do
think
have
that ends
time.
our Mira is Venom scooping.
I did have that thought where I was like, hot damn, if Mira's Venom, she's great at acting. Like, if you know, top tier dragon rider, top tier actress, like this girl is a jack of all trades.
Next, we need to tell Dane, be like, "Oh, Xaden's Venom," and we can gauge Dane's reaction on, "Oh my god, that's awful too." That doesn't seem that bad. Like, we shouldn't judge all of that.
Where Dane just goes, wow, me too. Um, I still like it didn't tell me for sure that Mira's not Venom. It did make me think that I'm probably a little crazy for having thought that this whole book, but what I did think in that moment when Mira stormed out and was basically like, fuck all of you, was that Violet has failed at her dad's one request, which was trust only Mira. Because right now we're trusting everyone but Mira. And I just wonder if there's some other reason that her dad said that. Because my whole thought
'Cause I'm
was it's some sort of weird Venom thing. But like, have we failed? Have we failed the test? Was there a thing where we needed to confide in Mira? I don't know.
It feels like you're creeping awfully close to anti-Xaden. Because trusting Mira right now would be being anti-Xaden.
I no, never. You will never see me be anti-Xaden. I don't
So
know.
many secrets. Yeah, I don't know.
It is also
Like,
interesting to me too, like how like this power that Mira has with Violet over Violet, however you want to say it, because it's like Violet is catatonic for multiple days. Like Xaden can't get her out of it, Brennan can't get her out of it. Mira shows up and all of a sudden Violet's like, "Fine, I'll get out of bed." Like is there more to that? Like the power that the two of them have that connects them?
Think so. I just read it as it's been 3 days and Mira is the one that gets her out of it.
It just seemed so like Brennan was like,
It did.
you were dying and all of a sudden you're making jokes. Like there were multiple lines where like even Xaden was like, okay, I'm not gonna like look a gift horse in the mouth, but he was very much like shocked.
really good point.
Like, is it just sister power or is it something else?
Is it just a bracelet?
Is it just a bracelet?
I think it is just a bracelet. Now that we've gotten the like, I think was it just a
We-
plot device for Brennan to realize that she visited their grandma and to freak out? Potentially.
We hyped it too much.
As we do everything.
A red herring black onyx bracelet. Maybe. Maybe. But I will say that it wasn't the bracelet that started the conversation. It was Violet like flippantly saying like it's just us and grandma whatever her name is, and then she like stalks off to go take a bath. Like that's what started the conversation. So the
Well,
bracelet,
but then
yeah.
it says that Brennan noticed the bracelet and was like, "Wait, did you go visit her?"
Yeah, no, for sure. So maybe the whole conversation wouldn't have happened without the bracelet. Maybe Mira could have just been like, "Yeah, grandma." Yeah. I think there's something more with Mira. I'm not
Is
exactly
that-
sure what it is, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Oh, it's right above the veil where Grandma is.
Grandma's up there.
Mm-hmm.
Almost where there be no dragons.
Interesting.
Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about is Eric. First of all, I love him more and more every single page of this book. I don't know who I have a bigger secondary crush on right now, Eric or Dane. And it's a weird place that I didn't think that I was going to be. I want to lean toward Eric only because he's just not
Crazy.
Dane. But like, oh my goodness.
I can't
like
believe that's
I
those
can't
are
believe you throw Riddick under the bus like that.
Oh, that
Okay.
too.
You know what? That's fair. We're going to get to him after this. But like I just like Eric standing up to his brother. Like I loved when like early on in this section, Xaden and Halden are like basically about to murder each other. Over Xaden being like, "Of course I'm going to take refugees. You can't tell me not to." And then Halden throws like a little temper tantrum and is like, "Cam, back me up." And he's like, "First of all, that's not my name anymore. Second of all, no. I side with Xaden." I just like he's just really stepping up character wise. And I just want to say that like we still don't know why he told Violet to go to Dune's temple. Like, we still don't know exactly what Eric knows about Dune and Violet and
Ooh,
such.
Elena's got her hand up.
Elena, what are your thoughts?
Interesting. I wasn't seeing it from that perspective because we still don't know what Eric's
Signet or
signet is.
yeah, no.
And like he has to have one by now, right? So like I
Yes.
assumed that this was related to his signet, which is like foresight of some kind, but also like why would he hide foresight? Like people are allowed to have that. So like I think we've been assuming that it's intrinsic of some kind. But it almost makes me wonder if you know how like Melgren can see the outcomes of battles, if
Mm.
that's what he has, which would
Oh.
lead to Melgren being the Venin, sort of like how Xaden Venin, like someone got shadow powers. If Eric has seen the outcome of battle powers now,
Oh.
that's kind of what I was wondering.
That's a really good thought. Because I was coming at it from the standpoint of like, Eric knows something about Dune's Temple, or like why Dune's Temple would be important to like the overall group or the
Right. Yeah.
outcome.
Thought that
But
too.
like,
But Elena,
yeah,
wow.
damn.
Specific to that. It was like if you want to save Tyrandor, seeming now like you have to be at the temple.
Hmm.
But like also
Yeah.
nothing that happened at the temple really saved Tyrandor. Like the Irid guy was there anyway. So I don't know why being at the temple would have made a difference in the battle.
Right.
That's also
Other
a good
than,
point.
Although
yeah.
other than the fact Andarna heard that and went, "Love of my life, are you safe at the Wordstone? The Wordstone is safe."
She's like
I
everyone's
literally put a
favorite
sticky
13-year-old.
right next to that and went, "OMG, this girl."
Yeah. Are you protecting the Wardstone? Wardstone's protected. Andarna, that's not what we asked.
Where are you?
That's
And
not what you
I
asked,
just
Mom
thought
and
it was
Dad.
it was such a cute Andarna scene. She was Eric said we had to be here, so I am here. And she was like, "That doesn't make sense." And she was like, "I believe." It was an interesting moment because dragons don't usually listen to people that aren't.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't listen to the writers really.
I feel like we will find out why Eric said that. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
that that's just never going to come up. But could it have just been because he saw the outcome and realized that Andarna needed to be there to like do her weird audition for Leothan, so then he would fire the Wardstone?
Maybe. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me because I really, really, really would have put so much money onto him being in Tinsic.
Yeah. I don't know. We have three duplicate, what I would
Yeah.
say are like three of the big six
Hmm.
signets. We now have seen distance walking, shadows, and sorry, I just flipped everybody off. I should have gone the other way. And lightning wielding. So it would be really interesting if Eric had the outcome of battles, like the outcome of battles site, because I think that that might also be one.
Would it would make sense too from like just a plot perspective of like it's not like Melgren is a friend. Like no one in our like
Mhm.
immediate group really trusts. So like we might need a battle outcome for Seer whenever that interaction happens.
There's definitely no chance that Eric is Venom, right?
Oh, maybe? No. I don't think so.
That
I'm
didn't come
seeing
to mind.
Venom everywhere, literally everywhere. I'm very concerned.
I think no, I think
I
Melgren is a really good option because I think we kept saying like there's someone at the school that
yeah.
is Venom and has been Venom for a while.
Mm. Bringing up Melgren too brings up the point that Melgren sends Zayden a letter that's like, hey, don't fly off into battle. You're not going to win. And Zayden's like, wow, he was real late sending that. If only he'd sent it a couple days earlier. And it's like, oh, bud,
I'm an idiot.
he's
Big
talking
dumb
about
idiot.
the next one, right? Like, that's what it has to
You
be, right?
know, yeah, that was my interpretation too.
Like Melgren's talking about the battle in here. Like he's talking about this battle that happens like down in her. Elena tried to sum up the last section of this book using one word, and we decided that word was too specific.
After the break.
Someday if I ever have time, I will like put together like all of the weird random spoilers that we've done that I've cut out of our many episodes because spoiler, there's a lot of them.
And all of them are from
Then what do
Elena.
you say come from me?
They all come from Elena. Oh, okay. But yes, I think like is that what we're all thinking that Melgren is sending this letter for an upcoming battle that he is saying that if they fly off into it, they are going to lose.
Yeah, it's weird to me because since when has Melgren ever helped them? Like, when have they ever gone into a battle and had Melgren be like, here's some support?
I don't think there have been many times, if any.
The one.
And maybe is that why he's being purposely vague? So that he can later just be like, I warned you. I mean, I didn't say it was the battle on Wednesday or Friday. I just said the battle. I don't know.
Battle happened. What an idiot. It was like, sir, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of like big bad signets also, because we kind of started talking about that. I was trying to count them in my mind. And I feel like we now have distance wielding, shadows, we've got lightning. I would say that Violet's dreamwalking
Okay.
is a fourth.
That she doesn't have anymore.
Well, right. And that does muddy the waters a little bit because does it count? Does it not? I don't know. Where are our other 2 to 3? Are we thinking that Zayden's form of intrinsic is one of those?
Could be. I don't know though, because I don't know if it would be part of the big 6, because haven't they always killed off Intensics? Or no?
Well, right. But like, wouldn't that be super powerful? Oh, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like the 6 that they alluded to, it probably wouldn't be
Yeah.
intrinsic. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Which
then it
would
wouldn't be
also probably
dreamwalking.
take dreamwalking. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just wondering if that points toward, if we have 3, do we think that Eric will be one? And maybe also Bodhi?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just keep looking for where our Avengers squad is at to take down the Ophany.
Like anyone that we already know that is part of the big 6. Is that I don't know where this came
No.
from.
Can I Google like this big 6? Like, have we been told at some point what the big 6 were?
No. It was in one of the start of chapter notes
Yeah.
that basically there were like a big 6.
Wait, couldn't Riddick be one of them?
Could be. The only 2 that have been confirmed for us are lightning and shadows. Those are the only 2. Because one of the professors says like the last time we saw these wielded together was like centuries ago. And but yeah, the note was like about like the last time like the big 6 signets like walked the earth, like the havoc that they wrought, and like, oh my goodness, like what would happen if it happened again? And I just feel like it has to, that's where we're headed, because we keep seeing these very powerful signets happening. But
Yeah, I think Eric has to be one of them. Whether or not it's foresight.
yeah, it would be interesting. It would be interesting if that was it. I thought I knew. I thought I was so sure that I knew what Violet's second signet was in the last section, and I was wrong. So I'm not even gonna guess what Eric's is.
To be honest, Dreamwalking was kind of a letdown. I'm sure it'll be cool at some point. I think I also said lightning was a letdown, to be honest. If
You
I
did.
remember correctly.
You were also very bummed about lightning. I think we had to convince you lightning was really cool for like another whole episode. You were not pleased.
Well, Dreamwalking seems boring.
Dreamwalking's so OP.
Honestly, I was a
Oh,
little
you can see people's
disappointed
dreams?
too.
Who cares?
I don't know if you can hear Dorian yelling in the background. He's also upset with you. Auntie Elena, Dreamwalking is OP.
No, it's not. What can you do? Oh, look. This person's having a hookup dream. This person's afraid of spiders.
It's like Inception. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie. Like you can plant ideas in their
Yes.
dreams.
It's
and
what
make it
Violet
seem like
doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, it could be OP, but I won't to be honest, I was a little disappointed. I like the idea of, I think one of you guys have said something about like her being an amplifier or like some kind of charge up battery thing.
But I think it's important because the reason that I went down the path of, oh, it has to be like fighting related is because the Irids were so upset with Andarna for giving Violet this power. They were like, oh my goodness, like what an absolutely awful power, like the things that she will do with it. And I think that's the thing we have to think about is like, this is going to turn the battle, in my opinion, because she'll be able to get inside people's heads to see like what are the Venom doing. Maybe she can get inside a certain person's head to convince him, no, you don't want to be evil. Like you need to come back to me. Like I just think that the power to get inside people's minds when they have all of their shields down is very powerful. I would also say that if we think that being intrinsic or at least like dreamwalking could be at least one of a very powerful set of signets that could be duplicated, I would say that the sage probably also is a dreamwalker because he keeps coming to Xaden and trying to manipulate his thoughts through his dreams. And it just seems very coincidental that he's able to do that because he's not dead.
But like, if anything, that reinforces what a lame power. The sage has been showing up for 3 books being like, come to me, and Xaden still hasn't come to him. Like, it hasn't made a difference.
But he totally is going to.
But he hasn't yet.
But maybe he's been like sleeper selling him this whole time, and all of a sudden Xaden's just gonna like rise out of bed and be like, I need to go to the sage. I've got class on Monday.
Maybe.
You never know.
I don't know. I
All I
did
know-
appreciate Taryn at the Battle of Tyrandor when Violet was like, oh no. And Taryn was like, doesn't matter, Xaden. He wins no matter which way this goes.
I love Taryn so much. He says things like that, and I hate him, but I love him. It's just, oh my goodness.
Do you get more mad at him when he says stuff like that, or Llewellyn?
Yeah, I'm more mad at Llewellyn because he has no place talking to our girl about her relationship. Like, where does he get off? Taryn, at the very least, is like Violet's right-hand man, and he can say some things if he wants to. He's wrong, but he can say them. I did love the callback to Llewellyn oversharing his opinion when Xaden takes Violet aside and is like, do not die for the city. I love you more than I love it. And I was just like, oh my god. And then Violet had the thought, like, Llewellyn would be really upset with me right now.
Keeps thoughts like every few chapters she's like, Llewellyn wouldn't love this. Like when she gets out of bed, she was like, Llewellyn would be so upset with me.
Guys, I have to say that, like, for someone who, if he was in the previous books, I totally forgot about him. He keeps showing up. Like, when I was reminded, like, oh, Llewellyn is just, like, the person who runs Llewellynville, aka, like, Tyrandor for right now. I was like, oh, good, we'll never have to hear of him again. And he just keeps popping in. He's like, you know me, Llewellyn. Let me tell you all about the things I think and feel. Why?
Talking about characters that aren't around a ton. So Serena hasn't been in this book at all, and I feel like we keep getting like little Kat's gonna be queen. Like we've gotten Kat will be the queen thrown in our faces multiple times, which means she's one of the deaths at some point, right? Her being Serena, not Kat.
Oh, then yes. I thought you were trying to say that Kat was going to die, and I was like,
Serena.
Yeah, because we've been building up a lot of emotional trauma in Kat's character that can only get better with age. Like, we definitely need to hang on to Kat, for sure.
Yeah, no, they keep being like, oh, like Kat, like dreaming about Kat being queen, or like weird little comments here and there.
Yeah.
And she still has a full, like, her uncle and her full sister-in-law in front of her.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are going to die. Bye, Tecarus.
Halden.
No, absolutely. There's no way Halden makes it. He might make it out of this book, but there's no way he makes it out of this series. Like, honestly, I feel bad for
Eric
Eric.
for King.
Yeah. He's got to do it. He's better. Better all around.
No, I feel like Holland's gonna live because Eric doesn't want to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the same way Aragorn in Lord of the Rings doesn't want to be. It's just gonna happen anyway.
That's a spoiler I feel okay with keeping. We can keep that one. That one gets green lighted. I guess we ruin Harry Potter and also Lord of the Rings because we referenced it twice now. Also,
It's
if
my
you
favorite
haven't
game.
yeah, if you haven't watched all of Lord of the Rings, that is definitely on you. I don't feel bad about that at this point.
My favorite bit is seeing what spoilers I can throw out there that Brooke agrees are okay.
Yeah. I did have to spend extra time editing out your Hunger Games spoiler in the last episode. Don't worry, everybody. Don't worry. Yeah. I agree. I don't want Eric to be king because he doesn't want it. It's just he'd be so much better. So maybe Halden goes to like king boot camp and then he's better, but at the beginning of this book I thought Halden was going to be cool and I have no hope.
All around.
Yeah. We kind of alluded to it, and then I realized we didn't actually talk about it. But in this section, Lynx does get his shadow power, which is when Xaden's like, ah, yes, makes sense, because I'm now the Venin shadow wielder, so we needed a non-Venin shadow wielder. And I'm just like, okay, brood much? But he's probably not wrong. I just loved that scene, so I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was it was a really sweet moment that we get with Xaden, which Violet kind of mentions again in one of these later chapters, like how gentle he is with her, like while he's helping her take her bath and everything. And she's like, no one ever sees this side of him, but we do in that scene, like when he's like, Lynx, calm down, it's okay, the shadows won't hurt you.
Yeah, I really like that scene.
Nothing says new shadow zaddy like Lynx.
I think Dorian is crying in protest.
Orion feels the same way I do, and it's that we don't want a new shadow zaddy, Elena. I don't care how good his name is. We don't want it. No, thank you. Also, another shout out to one of my other favorite scenes, which was Violet helping Sawyer figure out how to mount onto, I'm gonna say Slyseag. I don't know how you would really pronounce that in Scottish Gaelic. I should, I don't. So I'm just gonna go with Slyseag. But like that whole scene was, oh my goodness. I just like was reminded about like the warm fuzzies of the like dragon human bond and Sawyer being like, no, I will climb up your leg with no assistance. And Slicey saying what I have to imagine was like, stop being a dumb piece of shit. I'm going to move my leg for you.
Super cute. And like Sawyer, when are we gonna learn about Naelin? Like why how many times can we be like, we can't talk about him?
Or like the weird comment that sounded almost like there was another person other than Nowlin in Taryn's past. Like, are we reading too far into Violet saying that? Or was it Violet? Was it Taryn saying it?
Aaron.
Like,
You say we don't talk to the others that came before?
yeah.
No,
I
he
think
says
the
we
line
don't
was like,
speak of the one who came before.
but there's one
Oh
line
no,
because
it's yeah.
But there were
Yeah.
others.
It's Violet. She said you never had to lower yourself before me, did you? Not for Naelin, comma, or and then she's cut off.
yeah.
So it's probably nothing. I'm sure she wasn't gonna say anything else. She would.
It's almost driving me crazy that we're not getting all the full answers.
Okay. Is it too rabbit hole to wonder if someone in Violet's past, like in her family line, had like bonded with Taryn before
Are you about
Nowlin?
to go on a she's gonna get a third signet rabbit hole?
You
I
know
think
me
This is
so.
so
another.
well, Elena. We read too many books together. I just, it probably is reading into the line too much to even think that there is another person other than Nowlin, but it seems strange. And then I started wondering, like, is she intrinsic for the reason most people are usually intrinsic, which we've learned is from bonding a dragon that someone in your ancestral line also bonded. That's why Zayden's intrinsic. Like, is it that? But Andarna seemed very sure, and so did the Erids, that she gifted dreamwalking to her. So no?
And Darna did give the dream walking to her. I don't think that the third signet. I do still think it's weird that Violet could channel like where there wasn't any magic, but then I think that's part of the whole Andarna, like the conversation with the other Irid in this section where he's like, "You are magic." So then I think we're supposed to assume that came from Andarna at that point.
Mm. Yeah, you bring up another really good point, Elena, too, where we've heard now that like um Violet is her power and Andarna is magic. And like, are we saying that in a very specific way for a reason? Or are we just like being girl bosses and being like, we are our power?
Oh no, like I think that's supposed to be like Irids are magic somehow. Like they can do whatever they want.
Right. Like it's something. Probably. I think.
Could be anything.
It could be anything.
Taking it face value. Oh, what a beautiful saying.
What a
What take
cute metaphor.
Yeah,
yes.
so cute. So empowering.
Believe it or not, those are the only notes that I had. Does anyone else have any other scenes or anything that they wanted to chat about?
No, but can we make unhinged theories for the next 11 chapters? Because I think Jack Barlow is going to escape his little cell. We haven't heard from him in a while, and it's making me nervous.
We've mentioned him a couple times, which means that he's got to come back.
Exactly.
It's like Beetlejuice. You can't say Jack Barlow 3 times and expect him to not just show up riding the back of a wyvern, about to eat your face off. For sure. Um, I love how you were asking if we could talk about unhinged theories for the last 11 chapters, and then just immediately you were like, let me tell you mine. But if you wanted permission, granted.
And then is this where Riddick dies? Like, someone has to die, and I'm going to be sad about it, and I think it's going to be Riddick. And also, this is where we find out Dane's dad is a Venom, and also we find out Dane has secretly betrayed them all, and I'm going to be really upset about it. Those are my theories.
Wow.
And
Jamie's
Zayden
like,
leaves.
I
Don't
thought
forget
about
about the
none of
Zayden
that.
leaving part.
Zayden leaving, right.
Yeah.
So, Elena, out of the people leaving options, you're on the Zayden leaves, Violet stays train. Yeah. Okay. I actually do think. Yeah, no, go.
I was
Jamie,
going to say, like, are we
what do you
going down
think?
a line? For that theory, I think it's the other way. That Violet leaves or maybe they both leave. Because I don't know why Zayden would stay other than to lead Tyrandor and keep up with, with the pretense that he's not Venom.
Oh God, Jamie.
Channels again. Like
Over
all
the
it
course,
takes is channeling one more time, and his eyes aren't gonna go back.
but you know what? Over the course of 5 seconds in you saying that, I was like, I went. This is
Go
what
on,
my brain
go on,
did. This is
go
what my
on,
brain did. My
go
brain
on.
was like, oh yeah, no, you're totally right. Zayden wouldn't stay behind because he'd still be Venom. Unless there is a cure and Violet trades herself to cure Zayden. The end. Mic drop. That's what happens. I'm done. I'm out. I'm gonna go throw this book out a window.
I mean, Theophany did say that she has something.
She
She has
has what she
information.
wants. She keeps
Yeah.
saying that. Elena,
Yes,
yes.
Elena.
If that's what happens on a scale of 1 to 10, how mad is Taryn gonna be?
Pissed. Like he would ground her if he could.
I don't even know. I mean, like, obviously it's like a 20 out of 10, right? But like, now you started me thinking, okay, if that is what happens, does she like shut her bond with him? And I'm not saying get rid of her bond because obviously then but what if she just is like, no, I'm gonna go do this thing and I'm not gonna talk to you? And Taryn loses his mind.
About Bond. Because it said that oh my god, what's his name? Leothan said to her,
Yeah.
her being in Darna,
Yeah.
that bonds are magic and she's Irid. She can change the bonds. Does that mean she can change any bond and not just hers?
Wait. Although the Irid said that they couldn't save them. I don't know.
The Irids seemed to think that there wasn't a cure. But maybe they don't know.
You know
Also,
how they beat the Venom all those years ago, right? We still don't have that answer.
no.
Another thing we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Yeah, bonds are merely magical ties. You are Irid. You are magic. Bend it, shape it, break it as you see fit.
But I don't
Sounds like
know
a
if that
plot.
means other bonds.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I feel like this book has a lot of play on words.
Yeah. Hmm. Yikes. Well, that is what I think is going to happen now because it has to, like, we have to have our hearts ripped out and stomped on a bunch at the end of this book. Like, it would feel weird if it wasn't, like, entirely emotionally crippling at the end. Um, and I feel like the only way that that's going to happen is if it's not what we expect. And we've been expecting
Tell you
Zayden
what
to
we
walk away this whole
expect.
time. But like for Zayden to leave, like that's where this whole book has been heading is Zayden becoming Venom, and it's almost too obvious at this point.
I'm saying, like, it's become so obvious that we're like, oh no, it's gonna be all these other options, but then it's like, oh no, he actually is just leaving.
Which would still be devastating. I don't want any of it. All in favor of not finishing this book. No? No one else? Just me? No?
I need to know
Okay.
what happens.
All right.
There's only 70 pages. This is a really short section. Like, it seemed pretty even until we got to the end.
And now there's so little left. Oh man. Okay, yeah. My other thoughts for the end of this book are that there will be some sort of fight. I think that Violet will still have dreamwalking. She'll be surprised that she can do it. And she's put in a situation where she has to use it in a way that doesn't make her comfortable in order to get an edge. And is that like a friend, like Dane? Does she dreamwalk in someone's dreams that she doesn't want to mess with, but she does?
She dream walks into Dane's dream, and it's just his dream is just like about making out with Violet.
Do you think he's still hung up on her?
Or Sloane.
I think so. Oh, I thought about Sloane romance.
Um,
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what's a character we haven't seen recently that will make like a surprise appearance towards the end. One, Jack Barlow. Anyone else?
Dane's dad, potentially.
Oh, yeah, Dane's dad.
yeah, I think
Papa Sorrengail.
Sloane's a good thought, but like Sloane was such a big piece of the end of Iron Flame that I feel like she can't be another big piece of this one. Quinn recently has like become a real character. Like she was kind of just a name to me until recently when she's like, "Yeah, let me help you learn how to do runes." I was like, "That's cool, Quinn." Oh no, now you're gonna die. So maybe she does something cool. Like we gave her a personality and a girlfriend. She is ripe for dying now. This is how she dies.
Any thoughts on characters who are dead will come back?
Not immediately, but that did remind me of Mira's joke about don't give Brennan away to fake his death again. And now I'm just giggling.
Do you still think Papa
She's still
Sorrengail?
mad.
She's still mad. Are you still on the train that Papa Sorrengail's alive this whole time?
I don't know how I feel now. Like, I wonder if the big reveal for him was that, like, what he did to Violet. Um, because I do recognize, like, we haven't seen his body, but it did seem like he died in a way that everyone like accepted that he
Mhm.
died. It wasn't like, oh, my dad left and like, got in a weird like alligator accident and we never saw him again. Like it so I'm wondering if this is his twist.
But again, with like the
He fell
plan
off a
words.
cliff.
He fell off a cliff. Right, yeah, a
Right,
bunch
his
of
Didn't
rocks
fit
fell on
his
him.
lawn.
body.
I think he's dead.
What about Nowlin?
No, no way.
No way, then he's not coming back.
No, Nowlin is definitely still alive. I don't know if we're gonna see him at the end of this book. Well, because again, we've brought him up at least twice that I can think of off the top of my head, and I paid specific attention, and at no point was it like, ah, yes, my previous rider who perished. Ah, yes, my previous rider who died. It's like, we will not talk about him, the one who left. Like, it's very much like he decided to not be bonded to Taryn anymore. And like, is that where we're going with learning that it is possible to survive the bond? Because we now have that interesting insight that Violet has into what it's like to have the bond severed. And Violet's basically like, yeah, I just like lost my will to live. Like, so that I could see how you would keel over, but like maybe Nowlin didn't.
It's just a really good point because Mira's entire thing when she unbonds with Andarna is like, how did you cope with the loss of power? Which, like, as a Venin, you wouldn't need to cope with the loss of power. And, like, Violet really emphasizes how it's not the loss of power that's the problem, it's like the connection. But if you're Venin and, like, lose your emotions vis-a-vis channeling, neither of those things would be a problem.
It's interesting that you say that too, because if we go down the rabbit hole that Nowlin channeled to save Brennan, maybe it was like a mutual decision to end their bond. And then Nowlin had the power, like the actual magic power to sustain him. And maybe he felt like he had another bond, like Violet did to Tairn in his bond to Brennan. Is it possible that like that subsisted enough for him? Because even Taryn, like when Violet is like, "Oh no, I'm gonna go catatonic again," Taryn is like, focus on Xaden. Like, do whatever you need to do to like stay here and now." And is it possible that that could have been enough for him?
If we're going down this rabbit hole, God forbid we go down a rabbit hole.
Come with me.
But
Come down. It's really warm and dirty down here.
but Brennan seems very motivated to help Xaden become unvenin. Like,
It does.
very motivated.
Yeah, that's another really good point.
What are we thinking?
I'm just wondering at which point Brennan is gonna level with Violet and be like, yeah, my boyfriend is also Venom. Like, it would be really cool if we could find this cure because he's like saging and stuff, and I need to remind him that he wants to be with me.
Sage, that's where I lose me. I think he could be Venom, but if the Sage is a dreamwalker, like we're assuming that, we know that Nalen's power wasn't dreamwalking.
What was Nalen's power?
He could
Was
we
he like a
know.
siphon or a healer?
Yeah, he was a
No,
siphon or
right.
something to
Brennan's the healer.
Mm.
Yeah, Brennan's the healer. He did something to save, or Brennan tried to save him.
Well, I think that
Was it
was
that
the
Brennan?
story. That was the story
Yeah.
at first. What a beautiful love story would that be? Just like, you know, Nowlin goes crazy evil to save Brennan, and then Brennan finds a way to heal him, and they live happily ever after. Mwah.
5, and Nalen will have been dead the whole time. No one will have been Venom.
No, we definitely get the Venom mole at the end of this. Like, we have to. That's been mentioned way too many times.
I think I would be really sad if it was none of the things or none of the people that we mentioned.
Who would be the most out of left field?
Riddick.
Oh, I was just
Ree.
gonna say the same thing. It's not Riddick, is it?
I said Ree.
I know you did, but I don't care.
I
It doesn't
know.
matter. I'm worried that it's Riddick.
No, he's not. Remember I said comedic relief.
Is that why he went on is that why he wanted to be on Quest Squad?
I think so. He was also so mad about Zayden being Venom. I think we can take everyone that finds out about Zayden being Venom and flipping their absolute lid and go, they're probably not Venom.
Was he just upset because Zayden could have accidentally killed Violet and all they want is Violet?
No.
Stop
This is
it. Stop
this is
it.
deep of rabbit hole.
Too deep. Too deep.
Somebody
Too many
throw
red
me a
strings.
rope! Okay, alright, I'm out. Riddick is fine. Nothing will happen to Riddick ever. He is untouchable. We're okay.
You just murdered him. You just murdered him in the next 11 chapters.
No,
He got
Elena.
knifed for real.
No, because there are people that have already finished this book and they know what happens. So, like, if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, doesn't make a sound. Yes, because people have finished this book. And I can't change the course of history because of what I just said.
Changed it.
Because we live in the Matrix and I just. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts? Any other things that I left out? Oh boy.
I
All
just
right.
want answers, and I know we're probably not going to get all of them. Which I think bums me
70
out
pages.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, to that, Jamie, I would say my assumption is that we're going to end this book in a similar fashion to Iron Flame, where a lot is gonna happen, and I think we're gonna get more questions than answers at the end of this book.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're thinking that we're gonna find out what's up with Dune. We're gonna figure out who the mole is. And Darna's gonna come back, and all of a sudden we're just gonna have more questions that we will then spend the next 2 years talking about, because I'm assuming that is how long it will take for the next book to come out. And yeah. How long have you been hovering over that button?
We started the sad discussion about how we're not gonna know anything at this.
It was too appropriate for me to be mad at you. Okay. Well, I think that's it. I think I can't possibly put off finishing this book any longer. So Let's do it. Let's go finish this book, and then we'll come back here and cry together. Awesome. See you back here, guys. Bye.